Alright, this is my tier list of every game I beat in 2025. S is going to be a personal all-timer. A is a standout game I played in the year. B is a great game that I'd recommend. C, I think it's worth experiencing, but I think it's a level below the three tiers above. And D is a game I wish I would have quit, and I personally wouldn't recommend. Okay, Citizen Sleeper is this visual novel type game where um, you're in this sci-fi world, kind of controlling this agent where you almost have a robotic body that's not yours, and you're shoved. Your consciousness is like in that body remotely. You've sold your soul. You've sold everything. It has great writing, uh, and in between, you kind of do these dice rolls every day where you get to input these dice during the day into different decisions. So you want to go steal something, maybe you have a four, and you can put that four in, but you might have a better chance of succeeding if you use your six, but you might want your six for a more pressing task. What I'd say is, while the story's great, the world's really cool, sometimes the resource management and that rolling and managing not just your dice, but all these different currencies in the game could become a bit much between the story and got a little stale. Um, but I still say it's a great game. Bollocks Pit, I thought was pretty standout. Um, it's a roguelite that's one of these short attention span ones, but I think it wears that on its sleeve more than any other roguelike I've seen. Once you beat a level, you can play it on fast mode, and if you beat it on fast mode, it just keeps getting shorter and shorter to the point where you can have levels that are, or runs that go by in, 5, 6 minutes, probably even faster. It gets to the point where it kind of plays itself, but has a cool little town builder in between. Um, I think, if I have 5 minutes in an Uber or on the bus or something like this is when I might play on Steam Deck or on my lunch break. I thought it was really good, and it's kind of one of those just like turn your brain off, numbers go up, but uh, in a unique way. Silk Song's an all timer for me. This is in conversation for my favorite game of all time. I was really looking forward to this game because Hollow Knight's an all timer for me, and my favorite Metroidvania. Maybe it's in that ballpark. Games like Blasphemous 2 are also really incredible, but I think Silk Song has now reclaimed the crown, or at least like, solidified their stance. Music's incredible, game's incredible. There's a lot more variety in the gameplay than the first time around. You can use these different crests or different builds. A lot more strategies work, and I really enjoyed that. Um, Highly recommend it, but not for everyone. Um, I Am Your Beast. I thought this would stand out. Not all timer. Yeah, I thought this would stand out. There's a lot of these games that I've enjoyed where, the whole thing is kind of like short little levels and you're competing with your friends on leaderboards. Even though I don't really have friends on my Steam account who are doing these things, I'm not really competing with my friends. Maybe it's like the global leaderboard or just improving against yourself, trying to beat your own time, trying to do it faster, trying to get a higher score. I think this one has a really cool aesthetic. Characters really cool. Um, Music, pop in. Just really enjoyed it. Um, Compared to something like a Neon White, which I also really enjoyed, but has a super cringe story where I'm needing to skip everything. Uh, I thought this was really good. Spider-Man 2 was standout. Um, I beat the game, 100%ed it, and then I beat it on New Game Plus, and I nearly 100%ed it on New Game Plus as well because um, it was just so fun um, to play. I do think the writing is pretty flawed. Um, there's characters that have supposedly been friends their entire lives, and it just seems like they're learning things about each other that you probably learn when you're friends with someone in like the first week, and they're learning that like decades in. Um, and so, yeah, I didn't love the writing. I still prefer, like, if you were to tell me to play a superhero game right now, I'd still prefer to play like Arkham, almost any Arkham game, honestly. But I do think the swinging around the city and just stopping crimes and these things are very fun, and it's an excellent game. So stand out for me. Spilled. Um, Look, it's not doing anything too special. It's one of these games that you're kind of it's maybe an hour. You're cleaning up the ocean. Money that you spend on this does go to a good cause, and it was actually made by a solo dev living on a boat, I believe. I had a good time with it. I think it's worth experiencing, but it's not a game that I'd ever like come back to. Um, but it's like a quick 1 hour dopamine hit. So it was fun. Sacred Stones, my first ever Fire Emblem I played. This wasn't my first time playing it, of course. This is like my fourth or fifth time, but it got put on NSO this year, so I was excited to play it, and it's a great game. Just just how I remembered it. I'm gonna put it there for now. I really enjoyed it. Um, I like that old school Fire Emblem more. Three Houses kind of lost me with the whole bad social sim aspects of it. I get that. Yeah, I mean, understand why people like the social sim, but after playing games like the Persona series, um, it's just the social sim in Three Houses was so bad. I much prefer this like Sacred Stones, Awakening type style than to uh, the whole Three Houses style. So playing a game like this kind of brought me back to that, and I always enjoy it. Rift of the Necrodancer is a kind of arcade style rhythm game. The notes are coming at you, but they're actually enemies. And so when you hit them, they're going to react. It might jump a lane to the left, jump a lane to the right. Um, I suck at this game, but I did beat it. I had a great time with it. There's a lot of cool DLC songs in there. There's also Steam Workshop support, so people are putting up songs from their favorite games or creating original music that they're matching to levels. I really enjoyed it, and it's such an experience that I can just jump in, play a few levels, try to improve my score, try to move up to a harder difficulty. For me, it was a pretty great game this year. Um, Face Miner, I think is worth experiencing. It's an idle slash clicker game, but I guess it's more clicker. It's not really that idle because it is pretty active management. It's got this very like environmental message that it's kind of on its sleeve. You know, you're managing this like insane computer rig data center that you see the negative impacts on the environment, but only through the screen you're looking at. You know, you're kind of it's out of sight, out of mind. It's an interesting game, lots of fail states, um, but you get better at it. It's a cool concept. I enjoyed experiencing it, but not a favorite of mine. Alruna, for me, I guess it was worth experiencing. I should have been worth experiencing. This is like an old school Metroidvania, big focus on sequence breaking. Uh, I don't have nostalgia for this time. I was, these like more retro inspired Metroidvanias. No nostalgia for me. I'm not old enough, but it was fun. Uh, just would prefer a game with more modern leanings. Like combat, for example, nothing special. No real challenge. It's more like figuring out where you should be going and what to be doing. Um, yeah, Mario Picross, I think it's worth experiencing. I'd put it right here. I love Picross. This was on NSO, just something to play. Good like podcast slash, Subway, etc. for me. Um, yeah, I enjoy it, but it's nothing too special. Neva, I also think is worth experiencing. Um, this is by the same studio who did Gris. I didn't love that game. Kind of felt like a 2D walking simulator. This one has more action. Um, I thought the story resonated with me a little more. It just was better at keeping my attention versus like Gris. I felt like I could just watch this as a YouTube video and it would have the same effect. Neva does have a little more to it, but it's still in that same realm to me. It's more of an art showcase, um, which is cool, but I don't love it. Megabonk, not a big fan of this one. I love roguelikes. This one, the moment to moment, just kind of lame. I think the bosses are pretty bad. Um, yeah, this whole choose a new upgrade every few seconds, even though Ball Pit has that same thing. Um, Ball Pit, I feel like, does have these shorter runs, kind of respects your time more. Mega Bonk just kind of feels like, okay, whatever, similar strategies each time. Like, uh, I don't know. Um, just, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't recommend it. If you want to play survivors like Vampire Survivors still exist, Deep Rock Survivors, there's a lot of good games in that genre, and I don't feel like this one does anything too special. Um, I kind of only continued playing it because I wanted to 100% the achievements because I have a little OCD there. Expedition 33, I think was standout. I'd put it here for me personally. Um, Obviously, this game's been huge this year. I do love the music. I think it's some of the best in any game I've ever experienced. I love the performances from the actors, the voice actors. Um, it's very touching. The story doesn't super connect with me, but the main thing is the end game. I'm just not enjoying the end game. I can't push myself to do more of this combat. Um, I just feel like it gets old after a while, and there's not a ton of viable strategies in the end game if you're actually going for some of these late game bosses. You kind of need to go into certain builds. I feel it can be a little grindy. Um, Maybe I would go back and just turn down the difficulty a few settings in order to experience the rest of it. But I think JRPGs can be so long that in that back half, I'd rather be, I don't love this as much as I enjoyed like a Persona 3 Reload, and the story didn't impact me in that same way either. So while it's a great game, and I'm definitely going to remember aspects of it forever, for me, it's just a standout for the year. Um, Tower Wizard is a idle game. Um, this one really respects your time though. It's probably like 6, 7, 8 hours to beat it. I don't know. I thought it was a cool little thing. Um, just have it open on other monitor between tasks, check in on it, make a few upgrades. Yeah, in terms of idols, I'm never gonna say they're like you need to play them or they're great or stand out, but I think this one's worth experiencing. It's probably my favorite one I played. Tetris Effect. I got really into Tetris this year, starting with Tetris 99. I honestly would rather play that game right now than Effect. I feel like Effect requires so much of your attention um, with the experience, but it is really fun. They have like all these modes in there. I think it is a pretty. Mm, to me, it's in kind of the same conversation as Necrodancer. I think I'd rather play Necrodancer, but both really great. Hades 2, I think was standout. I'm gonna put it right here. I do think Hades 2 has the same issue for me as Expedition 33. I'm in the end game, and progression is just coming so slowly. Um, it's not that there isn't that many viable strategies, but it's that I've beat the game with almost every weapon, almost every aspect. I beat it 40 fear, both paths, um, and I still can't progress some of these things. Like I haven't finished the Echo Narcissus story. Um, and it's like, how many times do I have to talk to you guys? How many runs do I have to keep playing when I've already beat my last 30, 40 runs straight? And to comment on something that's not just the end game as well, I really didn't love the ending. Kind of felt like it came out of nowhere. And um, yeah, overall, just was hoping with how much I loved the first game and ultimately 100% of the first game. And was hoping I'd have a similar experience with Hades 2. Um, but it's just struggled to keep me engaged past what I've currently sunk into it. Um, and yeah, I don't know. Still a great game though, and I think my highest played single player game of the year, just beating out Silksong by a few hours. But yeah, my most played single player game of the year. So still a good time. Mouthwashing, I think, is really great. It's this kind of sci-fi narrative story. Where'd I put it? I'd probably rather, yeah. Very human, very dark, but these really dark negative traits that appear in a lot of the characters are traits you can see in people around you as well, in everyday life, which I think makes the story more impactful. Um, and it's just a really dark, goofy, strange, mind-bending experience that I had a good time with. Islets is a Metroidvania from Kyle Thompson. He's a solo dev, and he just makes Metroidvanias. I think this was one of his first ones. I did really enjoy it. I think it's a really solid Metroidvania. It's not too hard, not too easy either. Great entry point to the genre. Pretty cute. Nothing too special about it though. I'd probably put it at right above Neva. Click holding. This is a clicker game, much more of an experience. It's another like kind of like Spilled, something you experience in like an hour, but instead of being chill and calm, this one is like let's make you anxious for an hour. Um, I think it's worth experiencing, but I couldn't put it higher than that. I'd probably put it right below Spilled. Tunic is another one. Um, the combat in this is just really not great, in my opinion. Um, Although a lot of things they're doing with the world and systems are really cool. For me, I think it's worth experiencing. Probably at the top of that tier. Um, yeah, but didn't love it as much as anything above. Here's a Hammerwatch 2. I thought this was really cool. I feel like it's hard to. These roguelike games don't usually do co-op that well. I thought this was really fun. The progress comes a lot faster. It's a lot less grindy than the first game. Um, Even then, it does get a little stale after a while, even though the environments are a lot better. Co-op definitely gave this one a boost for me, but ultimately I think it's like right there. Is a Seat Taken is a cool puzzle game. You kind of put these different shapes in different seats and try to make everyone happy. So everyone has their little peculiarities, like, oh, I need to be on a window seat. I need AC. I need to be shaded. I need sunscreen. I need to be with my friend Jeff. Um, I thought this was fun. Um, for me, I'd probably put it around the bottom of great. I think it's a really great game. Rise of the Golden Idol. I loved Case of the Golden Idol. It was one of my favorite detective type games. Rise is a lot more interconnected, which to me made it significantly harder um, to jump into. Like if you took a week or two off the game, it's like, oh, now I'm going through my notebook and seeing where I was and how these things are connected again. Um, and I wish with the UI, I could like make the windows that pop up like almost a little see-through. So I could still see the scene while I am maybe filling in information. Personally, I think it's great, but um, they didn't switch up the formula that much in ways that really clicked with me. I'd probably put it right below Fire Emblem. Here's a Hammerwatch 1. That was really good. I do prefer the second. I was playing this before that. Had a good time with it. The environments are just a lot more stale in this, kind of samey. I never played the co-op on this one, but this one's just very grindy. Like it becomes extremely grindy. Um, I get why people love it. For me, I think it was worth experiencing, but yeah, I think it's top of that tier. Blueprints. Um, this one's also been really big this year. Unfortunately, another big game from this year. I'm probably lower than consensus on. I'm gonna put it here for now. Um, Going for those first few clears was really fun. Um, Learning how to draft, uh, getting a permanent unlock in the game was like an aha moment. I just feel like once you've got those first few clears, it becomes that the breadcrumbs didn't become worth it for me because the moment to moment is essentially just walking and selecting rooms sometimes, which I thought is kind of boring after a while. Um, so, I enjoyed the time I put into it, but I'm the type where if I'm doing one of these roguelites or any game, I'm usually trying to go for like 100%. And if your game doesn't inspire me to do that, then it's going to be hard to make it out of make it into a higher tier. Um, so I'm kind of happy with where it is right here. I think I'd actually switch that. Yeah, cool. Super Mario RPG. very cool that they remade this. I'd heard so many things about it forever. I thought it's really charming, really cute, good humor. Um, you level up really fast, like it's not too hard. Um, Kind of that action JRPG combat, almost similar to Expedition, although obviously not as challenging. Um, yeah, I thought this was fun. For me, I probably enjoyed it. I thought it's a great game. I probably would put it right there. Root Trees Are Dead, another like detective type game. You can kind of see from this list the type of genres I'm into. Um, I thought this one's really good. You're kind of trying to build out this family tree, filling in who's who, how they're all related, by going through internet databases and using these clues you have. I thought this one's good. The back half of it, there's like almost a whole nother game, and it's very challenging. Um, my like critique of this game, I guess, would be that it's really more of a puzzle game at times than a detective game because you're I guess I'd explain that by saying you're not it's not like if I would Googled something and I was 90% right about what I was trying to Google or search, it's going to give me the result I want, right? It'll be, oh, did you mean this? And that type of dynamic is not here in this game. They're looking for you to have the exact 100% letter for letter, like phrase for phrase keyword that you're putting in order for it to pop out, which can mean you can be on the completely right path, but sometimes it's still not popping up. I didn't love that part of it. Um, but I did think this twist on the genre was something I really enjoyed, and I'm glad I played it. I definitely liked it more than Golden Idol, and probably more than um, a lot of these games. I'd probably put it right below Blueprints. Crypt Custodian is another Kyle Thompson Metroidvania. I really like this one. This is his newest versus Islets being his first. Um, and the dude just gets better and better. Um, really solid, just like Metroidvania, but not a 2D platforming one. Kind of more of like a top-down isometric one. Very, very fun. Um, I think it's a great game. Um, I probably just with like genre of leanings and what I enjoy, I probably would put it right under Root Trees for me on the year. Um, Honestly, maybe right above. Uh, yeah. And then finally, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon DX. This is another entry Mystery Dungeon series. They can be kind of grindy. Late game has a lot to do, or end game has a lot to do. I do enjoy how flexible the strategies are in it, though, and going for these are actually can be quite challenging. Um, I definitely enjoyed it, honestly, more than Mario RPG, but probably less than Fire Emblem. Um, Sweet. So let me just go through real quick and see if how I'm feeling about these. I mean, yeah, Silk Song's definitely right. I don't think anything else is like an all-timer for me this year. Um, but what would be the closest? What's the closest to being an all-timer out of these games? Hmm, that's tough. Let's return to that. Should have quit. Mega Bonk. Yeah. Honestly, I'm gonna move Elruna down. Yeah, I just wish I would have played something else. It's not a bad game. If you have nostalgia for those Metroidvanias, you'll probably like it. Um, uh, Probably move Face Miner down too. I don't, no, I like it. Um, yeah, Click Golding, fine. Yeah, I like this tier. Um, yeah, is it Seat Taken? Citizen Sleeper. Mm, ooh, no, that feels about right. Maybe I switch those. No, Mouthwashing is pretty sweet. Routines are dead. Custodian. Blueprints. You know what? I think Blueprints might be above Hammerwatch. Um, Tetris Effect. Rift. Yeah, yeah. Um, I Am Your Beast, Expedition. These are only two of these that I was like inspired to 100%. So I feel like they have to be at the top of standout. Um, Although I Am Your Beast is only here because 100%ing it is like extremely hard. Like you have to get really good. Whereas these ones are more just like I didn't want to spend the time on it. I didn't want to keep grinding away. Um, yeah, no, I think I nailed it. This is the list. So I'll have another one in a year.